Three, two, one. All right, what is up, everybody? Today we have a podcast. We have a very special guest on today. Would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Yeah, I'm Ryan, also known as Almighty Chaunce to some people. It's nice to be here today, guys.
Do you want to explain what the chaunce means to everyone?
I probably shouldn't.
Uh,
I probably shouldn't explain what that means
Alright,
another time.
yeah, it might be inappropriate for you too, so
Yeah,
we'll leave
might
that
be
part.
inappropriate.
All right, so he has some fantasy football rankings for us.
All
Top
right.
five at every position. Is that what it is?
Yep.
All
Top
right,
5 quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end, sleeper.
all right, sick. Let's hear your picks, and then me and Logan will each. Well, actually, I'll let you explain your pick for each one, and then me and Logan will hop in with our opinion on each pick.
Right. All right, let's jump right in here. Let's start off with quarterbacks. Personally, I think quarterbacks are a really unimportant position in fantasy. I pick quarterbacks very late in drafts. I pick up whatever I can get because most of the time they cancel out unless you get one of the top two. But that being said, here we go. The first, I have a real bounce back year for Mahomes fantasy wise. His points per game weren't impressive this year, but I do see him returning to being the top fantasy quarterback. His running was really limited last year, so it made him unable to get the rushing yards that usually add that little bit of a boost to his fantasy stats that, in addition to his passing stats, usually make him top quarterback. So I see that coming back. Obviously, number 2 has to be Lamar Jackson. I really do think he's a running back at quarterback position, but those rushing stats in fantasy just count for so much that there ain't no argument that he's going to be 1 or 2 in fantasy quarterback from rushing stats alone. I mean, you look at it, you get 100 yards, that's 10 points. What you'd have to put up to get that passing-wise, unreal. Russell Wilson is obviously number 3. I feel like those top 3, they're always going to be the top 3. It's just what order you put them in. Russell Wilson, what can you say about him? The offensive line sucks, but his ability to get out of the pocket and make throws down the field is unbelievable. He's able to get a lot of passing yards, obviously, because he has to, because his run game is only a segment of that offense, especially because against bigger front lines, they struggle to run the ball on the interior. They're good at outside carries. That's more of a Rashad Penny game, and I'm not really seeing that being a big part of their offense. So I see Russell Wilson utilizing his legs a little more next year because honestly, he didn't do enough of that down the stretch, but I feel like that was because he had the weapons he needed. At least early on he did. Once he lost Disley, I feel like that was a big loss for him. But now that he has Greg Olsen, he has Disley, and I don't know if they still have Luke Wilson, but he's not a terrible piece at tight end. And you look at their wide receiver core with Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, I could see them adding something late, especially I would like to see a better slot receiver on their team just for across the middle. I feel like they really need that. They need someone who can be a drag and slant guy. But I feel like that will bode well for him as far as his passing stats. Number 4, most years for me would be Deshaun Watson. However, Deshaun Watson, I don't believe in his offensive line. Laramie Tunsil is trash, honestly. He's overrated. Sorry to say it. If you look at his sacks against, it's not really that impressive. He's about to be overpaid, too. And you look at his weapons, Brandon Cooks, I don't see a big threat there. So instead, in the 4th slot, I slid in Dak Prescott. I mean, that's a little biased pick for me, but Dak Prescott, I mean, you look at that offensive line. I realize they lost Travis Fredericks, which is definitely a hit. I'm not going to lie to you and say that's not going to hurt that offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, Joe Louis filled in for a year and was solid, and we didn't really have issues along that front. And they have Connor McGovern, who they drafted also, who missed all of last season with the torn pec. So I'm not real worried about that. And then you look at their weapons across the board with Zeke allowing them to usually get single high, at least on one side. I don't really see an issue with Michael Gallup and Amari Cooper across from each other. So I figured that it's going to be a repeat performance for Dak of last season. And then fifth, sliding into the fifth spot for the first time in my top five, is Kyler Murray. I mean, if you look at Kyler's weapons now, I love it. You got Christian Kirk. You have Hopkins, who's an absolute monster. And you have Larry Fitzgerald. I mean, and then you look at like Kenyon Drake and Edmonds, and they're guys who are more than capable. Edmonds can be involved in the passing game. Drake's not terrible in the passing game, but I like him more as more of a workhorse back personally. But I definitely see them being one of the most prolific offenses in football, especially under their coach. Like, you saw him in the air raid offense at Texas Tech, and I see that happening here. I do think they need to address their offensive line, though. All right, what are your guys' top five quarterbacks?
So personally, I agree with that list for the most part. I mean, as far as Murray, I put him, I think, seventh, but all you guys are right around where I have him. There's nothing that really sticks out to me. I had Mahomes 1, Lamar 2, number 3, Russell Wilson. Number 4 would be Deshaun Watson, but that's a little biased in my opinion, just because I've always been high on him. I had him on my fantasy team early on, and he's just one of the guys I'm always going to ride with. And then 5th, I had Dak Prescott, so not too far off there.
That's not far.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to argue against any of your guys in the top 5. I thought that was a great list.
Yeah, but you look at Deshaun Watson, don't you see all the issues in that offense now?
Yeah, I think his talent's going to outweigh the issues. That's just my opinion, but I
agree. I could totally see him being top 5, but he's going to have to run the ball more, and then that makes me wonder if his body can really take that abuse,
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be more of a Lamar mold because he's going to be out more actually Russell Wilson than Lamar. He's going to have to be outside the pocket making most of those passes. Yeah. What about you, Logan?
For my top 5, I had Mahomes, Jackson, Wilson, Watson, and then Murray. So I had Dak at 6. So
disrespect.
Sorry, man.
I get it.
Dak kind of makes me nervous just with the center position being gone. I mean, maybe not all the way gone, but just because of how good Travis Frederick was. And I think that's a really big hit to their offensive line, or else I would have put him above Murray. But I don't see him passing Watson this year, just because I think that I like the core of Cooks, Fuller, and Stills, and even Cobb. So, I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but even David Johnson and Duke Johnson in the passing game. So.
You were frozen up there.
Yeah, you're friend. I'm sorry. That's why I was smiling. He's so frozen when he's talking.
Me too. Yeah, but I was gonna say I don't think the Travis Frederick thing is as big of an issue as the media portrays it to be. Because you gotta remember, he's retiring for a reason. He has that issue. I'm not sure. I forget exactly what it is.
It's an autoimmune issue.
Oh yeah, and that's just eating away at his performance. So he even said himself. I read an article or something he said that he wasn't able to perform at the highest level, in his opinion, and that's why we let him to retire, because he felt like he's letting the team down by not performing at the highest level every game. So I
feel like Looney would have been more successful with that offensive line last year than Travis Fredericks. There are a lot of times when I watch Travis Fredericks get absolutely burned off the ball on that line. And honestly, I don't see that making any difference this year, especially with McGovern. There's going to be a competition for that center spot. I feel like one of those guys is going to rise to the occasion. So I'm not worried in the slightest. I mean, I've seen this offensive line change so many times over the years. Back when we had Leary, who I think played for the Broncos last year. I don't remember. Maybe.
Yeah, you might have.
That's where he went. But we had Doug Free, too, NIU alumni, so I love him. But with all the changes on the offensive line, I don't really have any fear, especially because I definitely see the Cowboys addressing the offensive line eventually in this draft. Probably later in the draft, but I see them fixing that.
Yeah. Logan, you good there, buddy?
Yeah, right.
I'm good.
It's
Got
always,
some solid internet over there, Logan.
that Chromebook is doing you some injustice.
That's why you gotta get a Mac.
Exactly. But anyways, you want to get into running backs? I feel like this might be a little more of a debate than the QBs, but at the same time, not as big as wide receivers when we get to Logan's list.
You want to go first, Logan?
For
Want
running
to go
back,
first on running backs?
Yeah, running back.
Turner. Remember, I didn't just forget. Cook is in my top 5. I just forgot him to. I just forgot to write him down on the list. Okay.
So let's hear it.
Okay. So my top 5 running backs would have to be CMC, Saquon, Zeke, Cook, and Josh Jacobs. That would be my top 5. With Henry at a close 6th.
I had the same thing as you, but except for I put Jacobs over Cook. I think this Jacobs is going to explode this year, but I'm also biased with him a little because I like I like him a lot, but I think he's going to be very talented. So that's my reason for him over Cook. Plus injuries is like creates a safety blanket for Cook. But yeah, what do you have?
Literally, my list was exactly the same as Logan's, but that's because it's half PPR is what we were talking about, correct?
Yeah.
If it was standard, I would have no issue drafting Zeke number 1 overall. Mike McCarthy, when he had Eddie Lacy as prime, loved to pound the rock. So, I mean, I expect Zeke to get at least 22 to 24 carries a game minimum.
Mhm.
So I'm really excited, especially because he uses his running backs more in the passing game. The West Coast offense really utilizes running backs more in the passing game than the offense we previously had. So I'm really excited to see what Zeke could do. I think he could be the number 1 pick in fantasy. That's my take on it, but I'm not sure that I'm ready to rank him above Christian McCaffrey just in half PPR because the touches he's going to get through the air are unreal.
Yeah, that's true. I think Zeke's a standard tank. I mean, he's led the league in rushing quite a few times. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but
Yeah.
it's pretty.
Twice.
Oh, really? It's pretty
And
fast.
the one season he didn't prior to this season
Mhm.
was because he got suspended and he still had the most yards per game average. So, I mean,
Oh, jeez.
the only year he didn't have the most yard per game average or lead the league in rushing was this year.
Oh, wow. And that might be
And
because he came in out of shape and held up.
Exactly. He looked fat the first 3 weeks. I'm not even going to lie. He was coming to the sideline like every other play.
Yeah, he was.
Tony Pollard got some use, though. I like that.
That is true. That's a little scary with him, but like I still don't think they're gonna take touches away from Zeke for Tony Pollard. But
Oh, yeah, not at all. Not at all. Mike McCarthy's talked about that already. He's like, I think Zeke is like the prototypical running back. He's going to be our workhorse. And he's been trying to talk down rumors that like he isn't like to give the running back the ball because that's like a thing the media has been blowing out of proportion right now is that Mike McCarthy isn't like to give his running back the ball. But like if you look at the running backs Mike McCarthy had, they've been absolute trash besides like Eddie Lacy's early years. And when Eddie Lacy was solid, he fed him. Like, I forget who it was. I think it was James Jones on NFL Network talked about it. He was like, one game, Eddie Lacy got 33 touches, and I came into Hull, and I told myself, if they give him the damn ball one more time, I'm walking off this field. So, I mean, he has no issue giving a running back the ball. He just needs a successful running back.
yeah, that is true. Logan, were you gonna say something about that?
about McCarthy and Lacey, or
Yeah, like about Zeke, because you look like you wanted to say something.
Feel free.
no? I can see Zeke passing Saquon. Like definitely, I can definitely see Zeke passing Saquon. I just don't know about Because even in the passing game, even if it wasn't PPR, I think that the yards that McCaffrey gets, no matter what, are still going to get him number one. But you could be right though, just because of how much they're going to use him.
But the thing is then you're believing in Bridgewater, or you're not believing in Bridgewater. You could think that he's going to check down more. And I could definitely see that.
That was the idea, like, behind it, because I think that, I mean, even with Kyle Allen last year, obviously Bridgewater's better than Kyle Allen, but
For sure.
he's not what Cam Newton like is. So
Yeah, exactly. I just don't have a lot of faith in a lot of the pieces in Carolina. Like, I see their offensive line, I see real issues. I see their defense, and I know that they're going to be behind in games. Like, I look at their defense, there's so many holes. They're going to be behind games. They're in a tough division. So, obviously, they're going to have to pass the ball, and that's why I like CMC in anything PPR half. Like, I like that, but in standard, I don't, because the amount of yards, it's going to get pretty obvious that they're going to try to abuse CMC as the season goes on. And honestly, down the stretch, I see him actually being run into the ground, because you look around and there's not a guy on that offense who really can get open unless he's given time. And I look at that offensive line, I don't really see them giving Teddy Bridgewater enough time. I look at Teddy Bridgewater's ability to throw down the field, and there's some serious concerns there. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of checking down to the running back. So I do think CMC is going to have a huge year.
Yeah, it's definitely a fair take. You guys want to get into our receivers? I think we should do Logan's list last, just because the reactions will be pretty nice.
My top five aren't that bad.
It's good. You're missing someone very, very important.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
You want to go first, Turner?
Yeah, so number one, I have Tyreek Hill. I just don't think
I'm sorry. I can't hold it on that one.
I just don't think Michael Thomas can repeat this year. I think it's unlikely. But I mean, he'd be my number one pick for sure if like last year wasn't such a historic year. So I have Tyreek Hill taking the throne this year, just because I'm obviously a little biased towards Mahomes. I talk about him all the time. I think that offense is so high powered that Tyreek Hill is just gonna rake in this year. He's gonna have like he might have a historic year this year, but I mean, some people are going Adams at the one spot. Some people are sticking with Thomas, but I decided to switch it up and go Tyreek Hill in the bold take. And then number two, I have Michael Thomas. Pretty self-explanatory. Number three, I have Julio Jones. Just like it was between him and Hopkins, who's my number four. I just don't see the Hopkins hype in Arizona for this year. The receiving core is way too deep. They have like so many very talented receivers, even like Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler. Those guys could step in on many teams and be like easy targets. So they have too many mouths to feed there, especially with Kenny Drake. I mean, they don't have a tight end, but if they drafted someone like Claypool, that's going to hurt Hopkins' value even more. And then number five, Kenny Galladay. This was a tough one for me. I couldn't really pick who I was going to have at number five. Like, when I look at my list, like I had Devontae Adams very close.
Yes, you should be.
And I was going to pick one of the Tampa Bay receivers, but like I think I like Mike Evans, and I think he could be top five if Godwin wasn't there, and if Jameis Winston was still the QB, or if Jameis Winston was just still the QB. Because even with Godwin, you're just gonna chuck the ball. But I had to go Galladay here because I'm having a surprise prediction that Adams isn't living up to the hype this year. Because I think Rodgers is gonna fall off the wheels a little bit. But yeah, I think you strongly disagree with this list. So I want to hear yours.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, as much as I love any hate towards Rodgers, like I love it. Trust me. I'm not even like a Bears fan, but like I'd love to hate on Rodgers. So like anything negative Rodgers, I'll take. But like, you're absolutely insane if you think Tyreek Hill is going to be the number one wide receiver in fantasy. If you ask me, I mean, you look at that offense, and they just have too many mouths to feed. I just don't see it happening. I feel like Tyreek Hill is only number one at domestic abuse. But yeah, let's get into my list. Number one is Michael Thomas. Ever since he's been a rookie, Michael Thomas has proved he is the best wide receiver in football. Hands, route running, yeah, he doesn't have the quickest release. He's not the fastest, but those hands, whoo. I mean, I don't care who covers him. Byron Jones has tried covering him. Byron Jones is a lockdown corner, and he's made him look silly in the past. So, I mean, I have no issues putting Michael Thomas first. He can get past whoever. He gets his touchdowns. He gets fed in the red zone. He's big enough to get those jump balls. He's definitely going to be a number one wide receiver. I've never been more sure about anything. It's like back when AB was the stud in fantasy. Like, death taxes and AB being the number one wide receiver in fantasy were a thing for a while. Well, now that's Michael Thomas.
That's fair.
And then I also partially, when I was looking at my list, I wanted to include Antonio Brown. I didn't, but I really wanted to because I know for sure he gets on any team. I see him being a top 5 wide receiver. The talent's there, but I didn't throw him on my list. Number 2, I actually went Julio because one of the big knocks on Julio, if you look at Julio, one of the big knocks is red zone usage. He hasn't got a lot of touchdowns. There's definitely an issue there. But with Hooper gone, and Sanu gone, I like his usage in the red zone to tick up, and I like a little more touchdown this year for him. It's kind of like you look at running backs. Aaron Jones had one of those years where he just got an absorbent amount of touchdowns, and I see that happening for Julio Jones. Even though career-wise he's always struggled getting touchdowns, yards has never been an issue, nor his receptions. And third, I definitely have DeAndre Hopkins because I'm not a psycho, and I see that DeAndre Hopkins with Kyler Murray is going to be explosive. You look at who's around him with Christian Kirk. You look at Larry Fitzgerald. I forget who's that. The other guy, the slot guy, Andy Isabella.
Yeah.
So you look at those guys, and you have to know that with Kenyon Drake and Edmonds also, there's no way they can really – they're going to maybe even pack the box depending on how much they use the run. So, like, they can't double Hopkins every single play. And Hopkins is used to being doubled. If you look, like, a vast majority of his games, he didn't even get to play with Fuller. So they'd have a safety over the top every freaking play. So now you look at a situation where he might be seeing some single coverage with a quarterback who isn't quite as talented as Deshaun Watson, I don't think, but his throwing of the football is pretty incredible. So I see Hopkins definitely being number 3. At number 4, I had a tough time with this one. I see Tyreek Hill as a better wide receiver in standard than I do Adams. But because we're half PPR, I see Devontae Adams being number 4 just because those catches add up. And, I mean, I look at the wide receiver core, and MVS doesn't impress me. Lazard doesn't impress me. Who they got at tight end now? Like, what are they going to do? You can only check down to the running back so many times. You got to throw the ball to your number 1 wide receiver. And Adams has shown proficiency at route running, release. His hands have been iffy at times. But I see him being definitely a top 5 wide receiver, especially in half PPR. And at number 5, as I previously mentioned, I struggled with 4 and 5. I see Tyreek Hill. He's going to get a lot of yards. I mean, you see Pat Mahomes throwing the long ball to him, but he's going to drag. He's going to slant. I mean, he's good to the sideline too. I see him getting production. The only issue I really have with him is around the red zone. I don't see him actually producing in the red zone that much when you have Travis Kelce and you have Andy Reid, who does like to get his running backs involved around the red zone. I feel like there's going to be a lot of touchdowns sniped away from Tyreek Hill. So you really have to rely on his yardage. And I don't see him getting a bulk of receptions just due to the fact that there's so many mouths to feed in that offense, especially in that wide receiver core.
That's a pretty good point. I'm not sure about you guys, but do you guys have in your leagues, like, do you guys get extra points for, like, touchdown length? I know that doesn't factor into this list, but it just reminded me of
No.
that.
Never had that.
In one of my leagues, you get, like, one extra point if it's, like, a 40-plus yard touchdown, and one extra point if it's, like, a 50-plus touchdown, so it'd be two if it's, like, a 50-yarder. And Tyreek Hill just absolutely eating some of those games. It just reminded me of it. I mean, it obviously has nothing to do with the list. I just wanted to.
Yeah, that definitely plays a factor. If that's like a thing in a league you're in, then yeah, that definitely increases his stock. Especially a weird league I was in last year was every 10 return yards you get a point.
I have one of those.
So Tyreek Hill definitely was drafted higher in ADP because of that.
Yeah, my league is like one for every like 25, so it's really insignificant due to like the returns being like the level of returns are going down just because of like the new rules and everything and the touchback length. But one for every 10, that's pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah. I love that. It was a cool rule. We also had stupid rules in that league, like head coach. Yeah, that head coach is
I have one
freaking
of those
terrible. That's a fucking worst. Also, but one of the coolest leagues I've been in had defensive players, and that was one of the most fun leagues I've been in.
Yeah, I had one with every position, like defense, offense, and head coach.
Oh, wow. Wait, so how does head coach work?
Head
It's
coach,
just like
it's like win, loss, challenges. I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Oh, wow. I'd like
Yeah.
to see a league where like if you have a head coach, the amount of carries and receptions that each of like his number one receiver, his number two receiver gets, only those stats are tracked for your team. So say like that actually probably wouldn't work just because if like your coach gives more carries to whoever it was, then like you can't just add points for that. But
I
that'd be
feel it.
something cool or something. I don't know.
Imagine that being a rule and how many carries you give your number one running back and Matt Nagy just being the worst.
That'd be terrible. Oh my god. All right, so Logan, you want to do your list? And I'm going to say
I kind of have to. So.
before Logan gets into it,
Don't
there
say
will
anything.
be
Don't say it. Wait,
the
let him know
person,
this.
the person that you are thinking of that you know is missing from his list. Just don't say anything about that because we're gonna have a debate about that later.
Okay, for sure. I won't match it.
All right, sweet. All right, Logan, let's hear it.
So, number one, I had D-Hop for the same reason that you had him at number 3, just because of there's such good talent in that offense. They're never going to be able to double team him. You said they're not always going to. I don't think they're ever going to be able to double team him. Whether you have their fourth string receiver could be, a starter on 10 different teams. So you have to look at it from that aspect. They're never going to be able to double team Hopkins. So that's the only reason I see him as number 1. Number 2, Thomas. We all touched on him. I just don't see him having the same year that he did last year. Maybe he's number 1. But I just can't believe in somebody 2 years in a row. I've just learned not to. Besides CMC, maybe this year.
And Zeke.
Yeah. But
You're frozen.
and then I had Devontae Adams at number 3. I think he's going to get at least almost 10 targets a game, and I think he catches 8 out of 10 of those. Was I frozen? I was.
Wait,
frozen.
who'd you put 3? Who'd you put 2?
Adams.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just see him being, because we're doing half PPR, an absolute monster. That adds up, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, I had Hill. Hill's just, in talent, he's probably second or third. He's one of the most talented receivers this league's ever seen. Just
right behind Odell Beckham.
Athleticism. Shut the fuck up, Turner. Shut up.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in there.
I just think he's probably one of the fastest pure receivers that this league's ever seen, because we've seen guys who can just return, and that was him in the beginning, but then he kind of developed as a receiver, and now we've seen him just taking absolute leaps and bounds from where he came in. And then at number 5, I have Kenny Golladay. And Kenny Golladay at 5 is kind of just like a personal pick, like a lot of Turner's picks, actually. Golladay did wonders last year. I think he had 11 touchdowns last year. I think he improves that this year. I don't think they use Jones as much. I think he's officially won over that starting spot, hands down. And I see him maybe even higher than that.
NIU grad. NIU grad right there. I do love that.
Fair.
So it's pretty obvious who you left off your list.
What?
It's pretty obvious who you left off your list.
Oh, yeah. We'll get into that.
Oh, my God. Yo, Turner, can you pause the recording for a second? I really have to go to the bathroom.
All right, so do you have a story about Kenny Golladay that you'd like to share?
I mean, not too many. He was in my Business 100 class, so that was pretty cool. I saw him across the room. He showed up probably 6 times to the class. But that being said, I probably showed up like 14 times. So, I mean, I can't really talk about that. But, yeah, he used to actually go to, like, a lot of parties around campus. So that was pretty cool. It made me feel really short. If you see that dude in person, he is huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, so let's just get into our tight ends. Who would like to kick this list off?
I mean, I'll kick it off. My list is pretty boring.
All right, sweet. Let's hear it.
All right, my list is pretty boring. I see Kelsey as number 1. He is Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. I mean, plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
If it was best tight end, I don't think he's the best tight end because I don't like his blocking as much as other tight ends.
I agree.
So in real football, do I prefer him as my top tight end? No. But in fantasy, he's the top tight end. He's got great hands. Whatever. Second, I have Kittle. Once again, not that scary. Like, that's what people thought would be there. Kittle, probably my favorite tight end in football. Dude can block. He is an absolute monster as far as blocking is concerned. His hands are great. The only real concern I have there is I don't think Jimmy G is a good quarterback, but to each their own. Number 3, I have this guy jumping over the prototypical 3. The prototypical 3 in tight end should be Zach Ertz. I do not see Zach Ertz as number 3. I see Darren Waller as surpassing him at number 3. Darren Waller is a converted wide receiver. His hands are incredible. You look at his route running. You look at how much Gruden wants to get him involved in that offense. They force feed him. If you look at the way they actually play their games, whether they're behind or ahead, they force feed Waller, and they've used him in so many different ways. They've flexed him out to the slot. They've put him on the outside. I've seen him in the backfield with the running backs being thrown out in curls. I mean, the amount of ways they use him in that offense, I see Darren Waller maybe even surpassing the 1 or 2 in tight end, but it all depends. I don't know how bad Jimmy G's going to be, but we'll see. And then number 4, this was tough. It was super close for me between Zach Ertz or Mark Andrews. I went with Zach Ertz because Zach Ertz is like the proven one. I mean, he's been a top-tier tight end forever. He's not someone I would target anymore in fantasy. If he fell to me, I would take him, but he's not someone I would target anymore because I do think eventually Dallas Goedert will overtake him as the number 1 tight end of that team. I do think you look at Zach Ertz's injury history over the past 2 years, and it's starting to add up, and that's got to take a toll on your body, especially in that offense where he's being utilized so much because it's an absolutely trash offense with a trash quarterback. So, I mean, I have concerns there. And then number 5, I have Mark Andrews. My concerns with Mark Andrews have nothing to do with his ability to catch the ball. He's a great receiver. It's more so about his quarterback. I don't know how effective Lamar's going to be passing the ball. I know that it worked last year, but he was also ahead in most of the games, and I want to see what he'll do when he's behind in ball games. So, I mean, there's some serious concerns there. But as far as route running and receiving, I really like what he's got.
All right, sweet.
All right, can I just can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I've never been happier to hear Waller's name in your top. I've never ever been happier.
Waller's baller.
Turner was waiting for you guys to shit on me collectively for having Waller at 3. He was just waiting for that.
That's very
Oh, I
broad.
was. I definitely was.
As soon as he said this is not the prototypical tight end, I was like, you know what? He's doing it. He's gonna pick Waller. I knew
Yep.
All right, let's hear your top 5 because yours is the commonality one.
Me?
Yeah, because you guys have similar looks.
I have the same exact top 4: Kelsey, Kittle, Waller, Ertz, for almost the exact same reasons. I don't trust Ertz. Like, I trust him, but I just wouldn't target him just because, just not anymore. Like, I completely agree with that thing. But the only thing that differentiates is I actually have Andrews way lower on my list. I just don't see – I like the way that you pointed out that I don't think they're going to be blowing out teams like they were last year. And I think that he was really used just to kind of throw off, like, secondaries or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they scored – how many touchdowns did he score last year? Do you guys? Because I'm pretty sure it was a high number. So – I actually have Hunter Henry at number 5. And I think that Tyrod Taylor or a new quarterback, depending on who they draft.
Tyrod Taylor.
Herbert.
I think that he is the biggest target on that team. I mean, yeah, Keenan Allen. I agree Keenan Allen probably is, but
What about Parham?
Who?
What about Parham?
That is true.
From the XFL. He's 6'8".
I don't see Donnell Parham taking away a lot of Henry's targets. I see Henry as a clear-cut top 5 tight end. Nobody agrees with me. I understand there's going to be scrutiny there, but there's definitely talent-wise, I definitely see him as a top 5 tight end, and I think he portrays that in fantasy this season.
No, I definitely considered Hunter Henry as probably my 6th or my 7th for my list. But the big issue I have with that, it's not talent. If it was talent, I think he's more talented than Mark Andrews. But the fact of the matter remains is his quarterback is Tyrod Taylor. And my belief on Tyrod Taylor is he's a great backup quarterback. So I don't really see him getting that ball to him. I just don't see it. In that offense especially, there's mouths to feed. You look at Mike Williams and all those guys. Like, there are some guys who got to get the ball to here.
I do see – okay, I think if Williams has a great year, Hunter Henry has a terrible year. And I think it's the other way around. I think that Williams and Henry are going to fight for that like number 2 spot, because I know Allen's going to be targeted number 1.
Parham.
But I just don't see Parham be – I understand he's a good tight end. He's a good
red zone
receiving tight end. I agree with that. I just don't see him clicking, especially with this whole coronavirus thing going on. They don't have time to click before the season comes anyways.
I could see him stealing red zone targets. He's 6'8".
See, okay, so I didn't know that.
6'8". The dude is a monster. Throw him a jump ball.
I just think of Hunter Henry not even because of the touchdowns, just because of the receptions in half PPR and the yards. And I think that even if, like I said, it's going to be between him and Mike Williams. Mike Williams shits the bed, it's the Hunter Henry show. If Hunter Henry shits the bed, it's the Mike Williams show right beside Allen. So, I mean, I'm not going to be targeting either of those guys in any draft, but just likewise, I think that it's gonna be correlated. So one's gonna be here, one's gonna be here, or one's gonna be here, one's gonna be here. So
yeah, I agree. It's an inverse relationship, especially because Mike Williams is a bigger wide receiver, and he runs a similar route pattern as does Hunter Henry. They run similar routes, so I mean, it's gonna be a matter of who gets the ball more. And I definitely think that Hunter Henry will get the ball more, but there's still so many mouths to feed. I just don't see him moving the ball well with Tyrod Taylor under center.
Yeah. To be honest, it might freeze him up. I don't know. Might freeze him up. Who knows? Maybe someone else is frozen right now.
I hate you so much.
Let's hear your list.
Let's go,
All
Turner.
right, so my list is first, obviously, Kelsey, then Kittle. Third, I did put Zach Ertz. I just don't see. I'm gonna say now, Darren Waller's not in my top 5. I still have him in the top 10. I just don't see it this year. I think he's already old. He's not going to be a breakout player. I don't think he can replicate last season, especially when you have Tyrell Williams back. Josh Jacobs is going to get more involved. They have Nelson Aguilar. Is he good? But he's going to get something. You know, he's there for a reason.
Nelson Aguilar.
And then you got Hunter
They also
Renfrow.
have, just to throw out another reason why Turner might be correct is they also did pick up Jason Witten. Just saying, I know he's probably not going to nowhere near as much targets, but he might take just a little bit. He might take away. He is absolutely hands down.
I love him, but he's so slow now.
Yeah, they did say that he's more.
I like him in the red zone.
Yeah, that's another thing I think in the red zone, and I think they got him for blocking reasons because he's a pretty good blocker. I mean,
And Waller used to get pulled all last season. I watched Raiders games. They would pull him every time they would try to run the ball. They would pull Waller, or they'd put him on the outside as a wide receiver because he's not a great blocker.
He's not. Yeah, no, he's not. He was just a receiver, and I mean, he kind of is just like a decoy down the middle, really.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the main reason though they got Witten was just for locker room leadership. I think they said that recently.
I like that. I like that a lot.
It's a good move. It's a solid move by them.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I have him, I think, 8th. I just think his ceiling was last year. He's already old.
I have Julio at 8, so I mean.
Yeah. We'll get to that later. But yeah, my number 4 is Evan Ingram. I know both you guys didn't have him on your list, obviously probably due to injuries. But I think this is the year that he stays healthy, hopefully. I mean, I like to think that people will stay healthy, but with him, like, it's a toss-up whether he's going to play every week. Him and Sterling Shepard both, they're the magicians. They disappear
probably
every
the
week.
Probably the most inconsistent fantasy players of all time.
I will not touch Evan Ingram.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't draft him either unless he fell wicked late. Like, I think one of my mocks, he fell super late, and I was like, am I going to take him?
Then you take him because the talent's there, but that injury history, you can't put someone like that in your top 5 with that injury history. There's too many question marks.
Yeah, that is fair. My number 5, pretty surprise pick. Although I do have Mark Andrews number 7, Hunter Henry number 6. My breakout this year is Noah Fant at number 5. I just don't think the Broncos have enough weapons, and they're going to have to rely on him a lot. I know they have Courtland Sutton, but teams are going to start picking up on the fact that Drew Lock is going to go to Sutton a majority of the time, so he's going to have to mix it up. And I do not think he's going to throw the ball to Deshaun Hamilton or Tim Patrick. That's just my opinion. I mean, they could pick up a wide receiver.
They will. They will pick up a wide receiver.
Yeah, most likely, but still, I still don't think that's going to impact Noah Fant. I think Fant could take over the receiving game there and catch a lot of touchdowns.
I honestly see him. He could probably have more points than Sutton. Like, honestly, I'm like, no lie. I honestly see him as the big target rookie quarterback. It's like kind of like the who else was it? I mean, tight ends with rookie quarterbacks always really they do well, or second year quarterbacks at least.
Yeah.
I personally think that's the best. Like just coming into the season because a young quarterback has to trust his sure-handed guys like Sutton and Fant, and I think that Locke does that really well this year.
I don't hate the Noah Fant at number 5. Like, I definitely thought about that. He's probably 7th on my list.
He's 7 on mine.
Yeah, I definitely considered him. But the only issues I have there is, I mean, he's young. Drew Lock, I love Drew Lock, but I'm not sure how much confidence I have in him. He didn't get a full year, and I don't really have confidence in him moving the ball quite yet. There's some serious issues that I look at that offense. Melvin Gordon, I think, is overrated. I think I look at the running backs. I think Philip Lindsay gets 0 yards after contact. So I have serious issues with Philip Lindsay. Royce Freeman is an absolute bust. And then you look at that offensive line, there's definite holes there that I see being an issue for Drew Lock. You put a young quarterback under pressure and you don't protect him, they're going to make mistakes. And I feel like that's going to be a real issue as far as Noah Fant getting the ball on a continuous basis. I see wide receivers doing well, especially a slot wide receiver if they go and get one. But I don't really see Noah Fant being all the way at 5. Number 7, I definitely like, though, because of his red zone presence.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. Now that we're transitioning into sleepers, I'd like to start with Cole Kmet, just because we are on the tight ends topic, so I figured I'd just throw him out first. I could see him as a top 10 tight end this year, little sleeper there, depending on where he goes.
Cole Kmet, really?
Yeah.
That's your sleeper.
Yeah, that's just my first one. Just for tight ends, I mean, obviously Noah Fant, bit of a sleeper. But then I'm also going to say my other tight end sleeper, TJ Hawkinson. I don't think that's really a stretch. I think a lot of people, when you look at sleepers, a lot of people have him and also Deontay Johnson as sleepers, like a majority of the community. So they might not even really be sleepers anymore if everyone's hyping them up.
Where's
I
Cole
think
Kmet projected in drafts?
Early second.
Yeah, I had the Patriots taking him in the first, though.
See, that's my biggest problem calling him a sleeper right now because you don't know where he's going to end up. So it's hard you don't know what situation he's going to be in. He could be buried in a depth chart. So it's hard using him as a sleeper, especially for fantasy. In real life, yeah, it's easy to call him a sleeper. There's a lot of talent there.
Mm-hmm.
I love him. He's from a town around me. He's from Barrington, Illinois, so it's not that far from where I'm from.
Wait, who?
So I definitely love him.
Who are you guys talking about?
Cole Kmet.
Oh, Cole Kmet. Wait, so do you?
And I had Noah Fant on my sleepers list too, but he's not really a sleeper anymore. I don't think he's wide awake. Everyone knows about him.
Yeah, that's true. Logan, who do you have? Do you have any tight end sleepers on your?
Thad Moss. I think definitely Thad Moss is a tight end sleeper. I actually do see Thad Moss going to the Cowboys.
I do too.
I really do. I love him in that off. I don't like him. I love him in that offense. Just all around. He's a pretty good blocker too. And never mind, his hands are almost unparalleled to any other, like anybody else in this draft. Really. I mean, besides obviously like CeeDee Lamb, really, but like, his hands are the best of any big guy in this draft, and I see him. He could even be top 10 if he goes and beats out Jarwin for that spot. If he goes to the Cowboys, I mean, I think he hands down wins that job if he shows up. But I think it's really a team dependent. So I'm gonna have to see where he goes before I actually consider him to be a breakout.
Yeah, my opinion is literally the same on that. Thaddeus Moss, if he got drafted by the Cowboys, perfect fit. But like I said, I have problems playing rookies as sleepers just yet until you figure out where they're at. Because, yeah, if Thaddeus Moss is on the Cowboys, I have no doubt he's going to be out Blake Jarwin. Better hands, better route running, better release, better speed. There's no doubt that he could be explosive in that offense.
The only problem I'd see is why he wouldn't win the starting job. I think he will, obviously.
He would.
He will, hands down. But I think Blake Jarwin's just a better blocker, so I don't know.
Blake Jarwin sucks at blocking. That's his biggest knock is that he's only okay at blocking. That's why we brought Jason Witten back. We brought Jason Witten back because we wanted to pull Blake Jarwin on most blocking plays. Because Blake Jarwin's definitely got a deficiency as far as blocking. That's why we also have Dalton Schultz. Mm-hmm. Dalton Schultz is a much better blocker than Jarwin. So, like, as far as deficiencies, that is the same problem for Blake Jarwin. And the strengths are the same, but Thaddeus Moss is definitely more talented.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have another tight end sleeper, sort of.
All right, let's
Um,
hear it.
If you steal mine, I'm gonna kill you, Logan.
I like Austin Safarian Jenkins.
I love him.
I love him. I really do. I mean, he's for the. I just.
How old is he now, though?
Like 30 something, 33 maybe.
Right?
But
Is
he's
he like?
also a free agent too.
How did he not stay off the drugs? Was that him?
Yeah. I think he was. He's really a free agent right now.
Yeah, the Patriots picked him up last year and then dropped him because of his issue or whatever. He is. Oh, he's only 27. That's not bad.
Oh, is 27 old to you, Turner?
No.
Yeah,
No,
well, you called Darren Waller old,
Yeah.
and he's 27.
There you go, buddy.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he's old for a breakout.
Oh,
For the
he
tight end
already
people.
has breakout. He's in his prime now.
So
That was his 1 year breakout. That was his,
I think ASF and depending on where ASF goes, and Chris Herndon, if he can stay healthy all
Love
year.
Chris Herndon.
I like
A
Chris
lot of
Herndon.
serious injury concerns there. You want to hear my my tight end sleeper?
yeah.
Former first round pick, did not get used in the offense he was in because there were multiple tight ends. But now he went on the move and he is on a team that loves to use tight ends and really just lost their number one tight end. So it's a perfect fit, and that is Hayden Hurst. Hayden Hurst.
I like
and
that.
Falcons offense. That's a team that is very tight end friendly. And with him on that team, I really see him breaking out. I have him ranked as my 11th or my 12th tight end.
Mm.
I'm gonna look to target him because of how late he's gonna go. His ranking ADP wise is not that great, so I love him because I don't like spending high draft capital on a tight end in fantasy draft. So he's someone I'm definitely targeting.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I'm gonna get into one of my sleepers that not a lot of people are gonna agree with. I put this guy number 10 on my QB list, Gardner Minshew. I think he's gonna have is he a top 10 actual QB? No, he's not even close. But I think he's going to have maybe a Jameis Winston year. Obviously not to the extent where he's throwing 30 picks, but I think he's gonna throw the ball a lot, and he's just gonna get a ton of fantasy points off that. Because they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So I just see him leaping into the top 10.
I do actually, along with Minshew, I am so high on DJ Chark this year. Just personally, I mean, he did wonders for me last year. I picked him up in what I thought was the shittiest trade, and I got him and Josh Jacobs for David Johnson after his good game. So I thought it was a bad trade, but
That's a beautiful trade.
He went off for me in week to week, and I think he does that again, but I think he does it every single week. Maybe not every week, but I think he does it the majority of the weeks. I think he has the most of the targets. I don't think Eifert's going to be as big as people think he is.
He's not going to be.
I don't think he is, and I honestly see Chark running that offense. Obviously, Leonard Fournette, but
I forget the other tight end on Jacksonville.
O'Shaughnessy.
That's my best friend's cousin.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah. He got knocked out in a game last year, right?
Yeah.
Wait, Logan, hold on. Speaking of tight ends, we have some breaking news. Trey Burton just got released.
Well, his cap hit. I mean, they had to.
That is very true. Logan does not know the breaking news still because he froze and couldn't hear us.
There you are. Yeah. Go ahead.
So Trey Burton was released. You just missed it. I just announced it. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I like it.
I need the Patriots to pick him up.
Maybe that wouldn't be bad.
That would not be bad at all. Honestly, I think he's he's way fucking overrated. Probably the most. As going into last year, the most overrated player in the entire league by far.
Besides, what's his name from the Steelers, Vance McDonald.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, him and Vance just absolutely got blown out of proportion last year. And then people who actually listened to it were sorry because he put up 4 points a game, not even, maybe 3.
Yeah.
He had one double-digit game. That's how terrible he was last year. And I think Burton, used right, I wouldn't even consider him a fantasy option at this point, but like used right, I wouldn't be surprised if he's okay. I
You would
wouldn't.
have to be in the perfect situation for him
Yeah,
to
be absolutely perfect. Yeah,
viable.
that's what I'd have to say. So, I actually have another. Oh, do you want to go, Chauncey, or do you have a sleeper?
No, we'll hear yours.
Um, would you guys consider Cortland Sutton as a sleeper? And obviously, probably not.
I think he's
But
overhyped.
You think he's
I can,
overhyped?
I
Yeah.
can understand that.
People
I
are reaching on him so bad in every mock I do. It's like he's going
It
so
depends
early.
on his ADP. Where's his ADP? Like, what rounds he getting drafted in?
Five.
I'm gonna check my mocks.
I think he's 5 or 6.
See, I'm someone who will not do mock drafts until rookies are drafted. I just
Yeah.
won't.
Yeah.
I don't feel a need to, so I don't really know where a lot of guys are going right now. But Cortland Sutton is a real deal wide receiver 1 on a team right now, and he's someone who has a capable quarterback. So, I mean, I think as soon as I would draft him would be like I like to go running back, wide receiver, running back, wide receiver. So I think 5th or 6th round. And I don't think he'll
he
be
is
around.
good. He went 5th. I got him in the 5th last night.
Uh,
I don't hate him in the 5th, but I'd much rather him in the 6th.
he was taken in the 3rd round in one of my leagues.
That's way too early.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
That's reaching.
I got him last night.
Late 2nd round.
That's reaching. All right, if he's not in the 5th or 6th round, then yeah, his ADP ain't worth it. He's not a sleeper.
Yeah, I agree. And then the 3rd round. So every single mock draft, I don't know who you're drafting with Logan, if it's like a 5-team league, but he's been in the 3rd or 2nd round in every single redraft.
Yeah, I got him in the 5th last night, and we had a solid amount of people in that. We had 4 CPUs and like 8 people, and I got him in the 5th. I had a 5th, and I got Diggs in the 6th. Or maybe it was. I think I got him in the 4th and Diggs in the 5th, and then I drafted 3 running backs to go with, and then I got Shark in this, after that. So I went running back, wide receiver.
I love that. Honestly, the best advice for anyone playing fantasy is stock up on running backs because everyone's going to be desperate for them, and you'll get high trade value on them to trade away for wide receivers. That's what I did last year. I literally went into the season with one wide receiver that I felt confident in. But then I played the waivers, and you know what? I ended up with McLaurin, A.J. Brown, and what's his ass? Shark. And those were my wide receivers on my bench. And I'm in a 12-man league, and then you look at my running backs. My running backs when I started were Chris Carson, which fine, Nick Chubb, and then Aaron Jones. But then I was able to trade away players in order to get Dalvin Cook. So that's Dalvin Cook, Nick Chubb, Aaron Jones, and my flex. And my 2 quarterbacks I drafted were Dak and Lamar. So, I mean, I was able to trade away things. I ended up getting Jared Goff packaged in a deal. He had one good game early. I traded him away for Julian Edelman to a team that was quarterback dependent. So my wide receiver choices came down to Shark, Edelman, McLaurin, and A.J. Brown every week. So, I mean, you don't need to draft wide receivers. You'll find wide receivers.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I do think that I usually do draft one wide receiver really high.
I drafted Julio.
So I usually draft running back first. Sometimes, if depending on who's left in the second, I'll draft a wide receiver in the second, and then just draft 3 straight running backs for the 4th one being for trade value reasons.
Yeah.
And then I trade off between wide receivers and running back all the way to the 6th, and then you get into different stuff. So
that's how I am. I think I had the second to last pick in a 12-man draft. I don't remember if I drafted Nick Chubb or Julio Jones first, but I drafted them 1, 2. And then I went Carson, I went Aaron Jones, and then it was just like random players from there. I mean, my draft's never that great, but I'm very good at playing the waivers. I'm always good at drafting running backs and quarterbacks. I mean, my quarterbacks last year were Dak and Lamar Jackson. Lamar finished number 1. I think Dak finished 4. I've always been good about that.
I do have one more just along the running back lines. Oh yeah, Turner. Do you want to
Before
go?
you get into that, I just want to say I always take running backs first. One time I actually took, I think, 4 in a row in a
Hey,
recent
no,
mock draft.
you should.
But this time, and with you guys know Garv, obviously, in
Yeah.
his mock draft, I took DeAndre Hopkins and Julio Jones at 112 and 2-1. Then Singletary, Carson, and Geis. Then Debo Samuel, Josh Allen, Evan Ingram, Preston Williams, Henry Ruggs, Hunter Renfrow, and Justin Jackson. So that new strategy actually kind of worked pretty well for me.
But what team is Ruggs on? You don't know that.
Yeah, that is true.
Because
Um,
that's a lot of fit. You have to know how to fit. But that team's incredible. You just have to. I don't know. I'm one who loves to draft running backs, just as many running backs as I can stock up on, because you can get wide receivers. People are gonna be desperate for those workhorses at running back, especially because I play in standard leagues.
Mhm.
So running backs are valued a lot more. So I mean, personally, I would draft if I could, I would draft all running backs on a team and just make trades. But one of the last leagues I was in was my best friend's family league. I'm literally not allowed back because of all the trades I made. I just literally won every single trade, and they're all a little butthurt about how that went down.
Oh, man.
I also, just along the lines of running backs, I'd like to point something out. I got Jordan Howard in the 10th round last night, so I see him as a sleeper. I mean, just being on that team. Can you hear me?
Miles Sanders is going to take that, though.
Well, no, Jordan Howard's on the Dolphins now.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yes. But, yeah, I could see them taking a running back, though.
That's what I said
Yeah,
with Zach
first round, too.
That's what I said with Zach Moss this morning.
How many picks do they have in the first round?
3. I don't think they're
They
going
have
to use. I think they're going to go.
They have 18, 5.
5 and 26.
Yeah. So I think they're going to go QB first. Obviously, I think they're going to go Tua, and then their next 2 picks are going to be both secondary guys.
I've heard some stupid rumors like they're going to draft best player at 5, wait for 18 for Jordan Love, and then so on and so forth.
I'm
really
totally shocked by that, but I just don't.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I could see Jordan Love being the best quarterback from this draft, but that's just from a talent standpoint. If you look at some of the tape, I didn't know shit about him, and I watched some of his tape from not last year but the year before, and oh my god, that's actually impressive.
You were the one who actually got me to watch his tape because I only saw one of his games last year because you guys brought him up in the chat, and I was confused, and then I was like, wait a minute, who is this guy? So I went and watched him, and I was like,
yeah, he's talented. Last year, he had a whole new coach, a whole new brand new offensive coordinator. So every year he's had to readjust. I don't think it was a good fit last year, his coaching staff, but I definitely see him being successful in the NFL. But you can't really draft on potential in that situation. You got to draft on what you've seen. And what you see is Tua and Burrow got to be the first 2 quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you guys want to get into the other topics? Because I got to go here soon.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Do you have a sleeper? One of you two have a sleeper you'd like to mention? Or?
I can throw out 2 real quick if you want.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right. For one thing, this isn't a sleeper anymore. I don't think Michael Gallup is a sleeper anymore. But I have him outperforming Amari Cooper next season.
I do too.
I believe his placement as far as ADP too. He's a very valuable pick to me. I would definitely pick him where he's ranked ADP wise. I feel like he's going to be a wide receiver 1. He's going to see second-rate corners because Amari's going to take that. They're going to pack the box, so he's not going to see a safety over the top. It's a really good pick. But my real sleeper was I like Brashad Perriman on the Jets. With Robbie Anderson gone, they're fiending for a number 1 wide receiver. Jamison Crowder plays mostly out of the slot. Darnold is an okay quarterback. He's definitely capable of throwing the ball down the field. I see Perriman definitely being involved in this offense. You saw how he performed late last year with the Buccaneers once all those wide receiver injuries started piling up. He definitely could be a factor in this offense. I like him as ADP right now because it's not that greedy for where he's rated.
I agree completely.
Yeah, I agree with that. And to end it off, I just wanted to name Paris Campbell. I think he's gonna be a sleeper just because he was drafted super early last year, especially in dynasty leagues, and everyone just forgot about him. I mean, it's not like he played bad; he was just hurt, and the Colts are struggling at wide receiver right now because T.Y. Hilton isn't really capable of playing a full season anymore. So I
He's
mean,
30 years old now.
yeah, he's up
That's
there.
definitely old for you because you thought 27 was old.
I mean, I think 27 is old for a breakout tight end. Like when you have one good year and you're garbage the rest of the years, I think that's a little old for a breakout. That's more of a one-off. In my
Garbage. He
opinion.
was sniffing in the garbage.
What do you say? We can't hear you.
I think he's frozen again.
Yeah.
He's not even frozen. We just can't hear him.
All right. But yeah. So anyways, this would be a good time to switch topics. We're gonna go to the Chicago Bulls now. So that is your
God.
team. I know that. And I like the Bulls, actually. I like their core right now, but they need to figure it out because they have Zach LaVine, in my opinion. He should be an all-star for at least a few times in the coming years. Lauri Markkanen, he's talented. I mean, we'll get to him wanting out in a second, possibly. And then Kobe White, who's a baller, in my opinion. I think he's nasty. So what are your thoughts on the current state of the Bulls rebuild?
Man, I've watched too many years of the Bulls. I'm growing sick of them. I went through so when I first had tickets to the Bulls growing up, I remember the time we drafted Jay Williams. I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember him. He's on all the NCAA shows now, but he was supposed to be the savior. We drafted him, and then we gave him a big extension, and he got on a motorcycle and blew out everything in both his knees. So I mean, I'm used to heartbreak. Derrick Rose, we know how that went. He's also an awful human being. If you know more about him and you look into his gang rape case, look into that. That's a pretty fun read. But nowadays, you look at our team, and Gar Forman's an idiot. Paxson's an idiot. I mean, we are just – you look at our coach is an idiot. It's just the biggest – it's a laughing stock. It's like the Redskins, but with talent. We have talent and just don't know what to do with it. So, I mean, it's even worse than the Redskins because at least the Redskins, they don't have talent and they're losing. Miles McLaurin, maybe a few other guys. You look at the Bulls, it's poorly run. Thankfully, Garpax is gone. I forget which one of them got reassigned. I think Foreman got fired. I think Paxson got reassigned, so he's still going to be in the organization. I don't know. It's one of the two of them that's still going to be in the organization, so I'm a little concerned about that because they're still going to have a say in it. But if you look at the roster, I don't get it. Like, there's talent there. Zach LaVine is definitely deserved to be an all-star this year. He got snubbed. Lauri Markkanen, I mean, if you look at his stats this year, there's definitely some things to be disappointed with. So if he wants out and we get decent capital for him, I'm fine with that. He's got a lot of talent, but he disappears in big games. And if you look at his stats this year, I'm not impressed at all. B, he's injury prone. You look at that, I'm fine with it. If he wants to walk and you get a decent return on, I'm totally fine with that. And you look at Wendell Carter Jr., he's also struggled with injuries, so I'm a little concerned there. But the talent's definitely there. And then Kobe White, our coach is too much of an idiot to even start him. I mean, he started 3 games maybe this whole season. and he was a fucking high draft pick. So I mean, that's where we're at. We're at the point where we draft guys high. We don't even start them. We put them on the bench. So I mean, we're a laughing stock. That's my thoughts.
All right.
If you had to grade their rebuild, if you had to give a grade to the state of the Bulls right now, what would it be?
Well, so we got a new GM. We're hiring everything else. Before I know that there's a new coach, I think I'll give us a C plus because like we're making moves now at least. If we fire the coach, I could see us being a B because the roster's not terrible. But in the NBA, if you don't have a superstar, you're not winning a championship. You look at the Celtics. No one on the Celtics is a superstar. You guys aren't winning a championship. Sorry, bud. It's just not happening. If you don't have a superstar, you're not winning a championship in this league.
So my next question would be, you touched up on Derrick Rose a little. Is he a Hall of Famer based on his on-the-court actions?
Nope. Well, in the NBA, it seems like almost fucking everyone makes the Hall of Fame. But if you look at, like, Tracy McGrady was super talented, and then he struggled with injuries. So that's kind of a comp that you have to compare him to. Him, Hardaway, those are guys you have to kind of look at. Yao Ming, guys who had successful careers but a very small sample size. That's the type of guy you have to compare him to. The problem being is that he really had like 2 good seasons, and then it was kind of meh from there. So do I see him as a Hall of Famer? Not really. I mean, if you look at him, his shooting percentage, even in his best years, wasn't incredible. He struggled behind the 3 line, but I mean, that was the NBA back then. He was prolific in the paint, but he also wasn't the best passer of the basketball. He turned over the ball a lot. So there was a lot of issues with him where I couldn't really consider him a Hall of Famer. Was he a super talent? Yeah, definitely. Any other team, if he had stayed healthy, probably would have won a championship. But the Bulls were just so poorly run. And at that time, I don't think they were well constructed either. I didn't like when they had Carlos Boozer, Joakim Noah. That wasn't a team. You were starting Keith Bogans or Ronnie Brewer at shooting guard and trying to win a championship against like the Heat. Like that just wasn't happening. But had he won a championship, yeah, he was a Hall of Famer.
All right. Do you think if he wins a championship at this age, that will get him in the Hall of Fame?
Not unless he was a big piece in it. I don't really see him doing that. I know he had a big game with Minnesota like a while back, but that's about it. I haven't seen him be a big piece of a team. I need him to be a top 2 player on the team in order to win a championship for him to actually be a Hall of Famer, though the qualifications to be a Hall of Famer in the NBA are definitely lower than that of someone like the NFL per se. The NFL Hall of Fame is way harder to get into, as is the MLB Hall of Fame. I think the NBA Hall of Fame is kind of a joke in my opinion.
Fair enough. And then last Derrick Rose question. The last 2 years, he was on the bubble of being an all-star. Do you think that he should have been an all-star either of the last 2 years?
There are a multitude of guys who got snubbed, especially from the guard position in the past 2 years. I mean, we already touched upon Zach LaVine. I mean, there are guys who are more important to their team who did more and statistically were better than Derrick Rose. So I don't think he should have been an all-star. But he was definitely on the bubble. He was one of those guys that if he was an all-star, I wouldn't have been upset with it. But he's not one of those guys that I saw he was an all-star and I was upset. So not really.
All right, that's definitely fair. Last question about the Bulls. We got an MJ documentary coming in 2 days, the premiere. I don't know when this video will be uploaded. It's Friday right now, so 2 days documentary. How excited are you, 1 to 10, for that MJ documentary?
So if I had to give a scale of 1 to 10, if I'm excited, I just watched the 1996 championship victory, and it was pretty great. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, about 13. I'm pretty damn excited for this. The only problem I really have with it is everyone in Chicago kind of knows that Michael Jordan's an asshole. If you actually meet him, he's kind of an asshole. And he was an asshole, all of his teammates. I'm a little scared for how people are going to react to
Yeah, he
the
said that too.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. He's going to come off as an asshole. Everyone's going to see that. Like, if you talk to Scottie Pippen or any of the guys who were on the Bulls back then, like, they'll tell you Michael's kind of an asshole. So I'm a little scared to see how the general public's going to react to Michael Jordan's legacy being a little scrutinized just because his personal side's going to come out.
Yeah, for sure. And this brings me right into the next segment. So we're introducing a new game. So it is called Let's Debate. Well, we're going to work on that name. That name's terrible. I just made it up right now.
Was it?
Let's Debate.
Let's debate. All right, terrible name.
Awful name. I just came up with it right now. So there will be 1 minute on the clock.
Okay.
You guys will alternate who goes first. So whoever wants to go first this time, before you know the topic, can go ahead. And right when I finish answering the question and you start talking, there will be a 1 minute timer that starts. And then you need to state your point, and the other person states their point. So actually, who wants to go first before I say the topic?
You want to go first?
Yep.
No, I just talked a bunch. It's your turn.
All right, so the other person cannot say anything until it's their turn.
Fair.
So you may need to mute yourself because you will be disqualified after. And
I know.
Logan can't hear us. So we're going to wait for him.
What?
There you go. All right, so you can't speak when he's talking. What's up?
Okay, fair enough.
All right, and then the last rule is that I'm going to, for now, I don't know if this may change in the future, I'm going to award a point to who I think has a better argument, not who I agree with, whoever has a better argument.
It's around the horn.
Yeah, that's literally what I said to him when he explained it to me over message. I was like, it sounds like around the horn.
I love it.
I love it too. I don't know. I don't really watch Around the Horn that much.
Really, you should get into it. It was better in the earlier years. Woody Page, my boy.
Woody.
He's the best.
All right, so.
Yo, Turner, can you pause it for like 1 second? I gotta hit the restroom. We found this for
3, 2, 1. All right, so Logan, you're going first. The topic is the GOAT debate. So Logan, I know Logan thinks LeBron is the GOAT.
LeBron. No
Don't say anything yet. You can't start your case yet until the timer goes. And as a Bulls fan, I'm assuming that you think MJ's the GOAT. Is that true?
I mean, we'll see.
All right. Logan, your time starts now.
I think LeBron is better sheerly because of talent. I think he has more talent than MJ ever had in his prime. In his prime, he's electrifying, he's polarizing. He is, when you think NBA, you automatically think Jordan or LeBron. And personally, I just think LeBron. I grew up watching LeBron. Obviously, you grew up watching MJ, so your answer is going to be different. But LeBron just showed up for his team every single night. I mean, the stats say it all, really. And I can't see him losing to MJ just because of the talent aspect, even if the stats are the same. That's really it.
That's it? All right. You still have 20 seconds left. So is there anything you want to add? All right.
Okay, so Michael Jordan is the GOAT. If you look at the big moments, Michael Jordan showed up. If you look at, like, against the Jazz, he had a big shot. You look at against the Sonics, he even showed up late in that game. You look at the big moments in games, and Michael Jordan carries the team. He single-handedly could carry a team. I get they had pieces around, but he was able to do that. I get the LeBron stats in the end are going to be better because LeBron played in a different area of the NBA. For one thing, they utilize the three-point shot more, so he's going to have more of that. But he also has played more seasons because he went to the NBA without college. Thus, he's going to accumulate more stats. And you also look at the pieces around LeBron. LeBron couldn't win an NBA without or NBA championship without pieces. If you look at it, he tried. He couldn't. You look at the teams he had to have on the Heat, even when he went back to the Cavs, he had to have pieces around him. You look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the ultimate competitor. When you look at someone you want to idolize as someone you won't lose, it's him.
All right. I'm going to have to give the point here to our guest, Chaunce. Do I think LeBron's a GOAT? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I think MJ's ahead right now, but I think once the NBA season finishes, if the Lakers win it, LeBron passes him.
I have $20 on the Lakers to win a championship, so I mean, I feel you.
That'd be sick. I'd be down for that. So the next topic, you're gonna have to talk for a minute again. I'm sorry, but you have Julio Jones at number 2, and Logan has Julio Jones at number 8. So I need your argument as to why Julio Jones is in the top 5, and his argument has to be that he's outside the top 5. And go.
All right, so first off, Logan respects Jerry Rice as his favorite wide receiver. Jerry Rice went on the topic and talked about who the best wide receiver in football is. He said Julio Jones. Julio Jones is the best route runner in football, maybe outside of Amari Cooper. It's kind of close. The hands on Julio Jones are incredible. You look at his production on yards, it's unbelievable. He's been getting doubled over the top for almost his entire career. Now I get that he has Calvin Ridley. I know he struggles in the red zone, but if you look at his ability to just play the game of football, it's unmatched. And now with Austin Hooper gone, Mohamed Sanu gone, you have no Devontae Freeman in the red zone. He's going to produce more, and it's no doubt that he's going to be top 5, if not number 2. Plain and simple.
Logan, ready?
You don't even have an argument. It's just a stupid argument at this point. If Julio Jones is in your top 5, you're just wrong.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Let's hear what he has to say, though. And after this, we have one more. Actually, we have 2 more Logan's bad takes, but then we'll get into some that he could possibly win. So, ready? 1 minute on the clock starts now.
My argument is one person, and that's Dan Quinn. I hate Dan Quinn. I actually agree. I agree with Jerry Rice as he's the best receiver in football. I agree completely and totally. That offense is not set up for Julio Jones to succeed. I absolutely believe that 100%. They don't use him as much as they should in the red zone. Actually, sometimes they overuse him in the red zone, and that makes him get double covered. When inside the 20-yard line, he was double covered on 87% of all passes last year. I knew that. I know that stat. They throw the same stupid fade route to him all the time, and defenses read it like a book. It's easy to find. And that's the only time he ever scores is if he breaks the defense. And he barely ever does that because of how good the coverage is in the back of the end zone. And that's where they try to hit him. It's like the touchdown value in fantasy this year is going to be big. He will score maybe 5 touchdowns because of how stupid Dan Quinn is in that offense. And I don't see him being a top 5 wide receiver at all whatsoever because Dan Quinn's an idiot. So
your entire argument was Dan Quinn.
It is. It really is. That's
Cool.
it. That's my entire argument.
That's the only reason you lost this point. So it is 2-0, even though I really agree with the fucking red zone fade.
I mean, yeah, that is true. That red zone fade's getting annoying as hell to watch.
Oh, it's annoying.
How about run a slant to him? He's a big guy. They ran one slant to him
That's what I mean.
on the red zone, and they won the game.
Yeah.
I know that's what I actually we discussed this, Turner, in another podcast. The same play. They should do that more often. If they throw to Ridley one play, they actually threw to Ridley the play before. The play before that they got that in the end zone, they threw to Ridley, threw them off, went him in the middle, and then he got in the end zone.
Julio Jones is a big receiver. He can box out. It's like Des Bryant. Like, you can run any route with him. They used to only do the fucking fade to Des Bryant, and he's more capable than that.
He's
the same thing.
Absolutely, hands down, the number one receiving wise in football. He is the number 1 receiver in football. I hate Dan Quinn. I hate that offense. I don't have another argument. It's just because of Dan Quinn. The offensive plays are set up for Julio Jones to go on fades and maybe slants inside their own territory. That's the only time they actually utilize the inside game. And that's the only reason I think that he's not a top 5 fantasy wide receiver. It's because Dan Quinn blows. He
does blow. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that.
All right, that's definitely fair. So it is now 2-0. There's going to be 7 of these. That might be a
7?
lot.
7?
We might have to adjust this in the future.
See, Logan and I both were like 7.
We'll see how this works out. We might need to reduce the time.
Yeah, you gotta reduce it like 5.
Yeah, I go 5 because we got dinner at 6:30.
All right, fine. I'll do 5. We'll do 5. Now this is your Super Bowl pick. You have 1 minute to tell why your team will win the Super Bowl, not your favorite team, who you think will actually win the Super Bowl. So,
Logan's first this time.
Logan,
I am.
go.
Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills will win the Super Bowl because they're. I hate you guys. You guys hate me for
Go,
this.
time's running.
Their O-line, their defense is. I can't even talk because Turner's just laughing at me.
45 seconds.
I'm done. I'm done. You guys aren't doing this to me.
Go.
No. Wait. You can restart, but like you get 50 seconds because you already said the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, you get 50
Okay, fine.
seconds.
Restart with 50 seconds.
Yeah, let me laugh a little more first.
Wait, can we? Who am I even gonna pick? Sorry, go ahead. I haven't even thought who I'm gonna pick.
Ready, set, go.
Their O-line, they're going to improve their O-line this year. Devin Singletary in the screen game will be a force. Josh Allen's going to find his way this year. I see Diggs, Beasley, and John Brown creating one of the best wide receiving cores in football next year, with Beasley coming in the slot. I see Tre'Davious White having a great season in the secondary. I wouldn't be surprised if they draft somebody for another secondary guy. Their linebackers are super solid. And their D-line, I can't remember. I know they picked somebody else, but their D-line is probably the best in the AFC East alone. And I think they're going to go 12-4, and I think they're going to go to the Super Bowl. So that's it.
All right, very, very, very interesting and weird take and horrible take. But, I mean,
How is that?
if the Bills win the Super Bowl, Gio will get you a jersey. I'm just going to say that just because he's a guy.
If the Bills win the Super Bowl, literally, I will bow down to you. Like, I will videotape it. I will bow down to you. But that shit ain't happening. All right?
You heard it first. So,
Okay.
All right, here we go.
hold on. Let me just get the timer here. All right, now your 1 minute starts now.
So, as much as I hate to say it, there's going to be a repeat Super Bowl winner. The Kansas City Chiefs are winning the Super Bowl again. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. You look at his weapons across the board. They got Sammy Watkins back. I'm not concerned. You got Tyreek Hill. You have Travis Kelce. And at running back, Damian Williams is more than capable. He's an incredible receiving back. You look at that defense and their progression once Patrick Mahomes came back. They were one of the top-ranked defenses once he came back. You look at the numbers, that defense is actually a good defense. Do they have holes? Yes, but they also have draft picks to address those holes. Their offensive line is more than capable. And you just look at all the pieces, and you look at that secondary. They got Breland back. They're going to win another one. I have no doubt about it.
Turner's going to pick you because he rides Mahomes' dicks 24/7.
But, I mean, it's true. Mahomes is the best player in the NFL right now.
But Turner's
Mahomes
just gonna
is the best player in the NFL.
Turner has them going like 17-0 for the next 7 years.
I have them going – I have them losing 2 games next year. So, I mean,
Yeah, I think they're going to win at least 4 of the next, 10 Super Bowls.
I do too. You know where he's from? Texas.
Yeah, I like it. So I'm sorry, Logan, you did not get this point.
It's the Buffalo Bills. I'm sorry. You could have taken a better team. Like the Saints might have worked.
No,
Yeah.
the Saints never win in the playoffs. I'll never pick the Saints to win a Super Bowl.
Unless they play the Vikings, then they'd lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like your NFC pick better. You should have argued the Seahawks. You
Yeah,
might have won.
Ooh, that was actually my secondary pick. That's who I was going to go with. I have trouble believing in that line.
The Bills have a defense that can match up with the Seahawks offense. If it gets to the Bills and Seahawks in the Super Bowl, it probably won't, obviously. I'm just saying. If it gets to it, like I think it will.
What's your AFC championship game?
Broncos versus Bills.
Where is he? He needs to go back. I'm going to call him.
Did he play the Broncos?
Broncos are gonna go like 6-10.
The Broncos aren't even going. They're not even breaking even.
Logan, get back in
Like
here.
1,000 teams I would have had no issue with it, but he picked up Broncos. The Bills in the AFC Championship game, not crazy. That division sucks.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
agree.
the Pats aren't even going to come in third, I don't think.
Oh, that would
Stidham's
suck.
got some issues. You look at his game tape, there's some issues.
I think it's gonna depend on the what's it called, the draft for the Patriots. It's just a big thing.
They need to put pieces around him. If they want him to be a starting quarterback, is there really going to be a quarterback competition between him and Hoyer?
Yeah,
Is that
that's what Rap thinks.
that's fucked.
know,
I mean,
that's
I'd
good.
rather have Stidham. You at least don't know the ceiling on Stidham. I'm sorry, dude, but the Broncos?
All right, so I'm gonna have 3 quick hitters, or actually 4 quick hitters. So we're gonna stick with 7. You're gonna have 20 seconds, so it's about the
Okay.
same amount of time. This topic: who is Jadeveon Clowney going to sign with? You have 20 seconds to convince me. I personally do not know. I was thinking the Seahawks, but I don't know anymore. So not yet, Logan. I don't even think you're first this time. No,
Okay.
you're not. Ready, Chaunce? 3, 2, 1, go.
So Jadeveon Clowney is going to take a discount, and he is going to sign with the Dallas Cowboys because he wants to play for a winner. They have the cap space to get him. He is a perfect replacement for Robert Quinn. He's not going to get double-teamed because Marcus Lawrence is beside him, and the Seahawks just don't have the money to pay what the Cowboys do.
Time.
Give me a second.
Word.
Should be the Colts.
I need 1 second.
You should say the Colts.
No, I shouldn't. I should not say the Colts.
Colts
Sorry,
have the money.
You
Give me a
can't use someone else's reasoning. Why?
Okay. I think, yeah, okay.
3,
Here we go.
2,
I'm ready.
1, go.
I think he goes to the Buffalo Bills. And this is another one. Okay, but listen. They have the cap space to sign him. They have 21 mil left. I think they signed him for maybe 17 mil. And they have all the pieces to win a championship. I think if they go out and they get that extra piece on defense, I think that solidifies it. They're going to win the AFC. I thought it was 1 minute.
20 seconds.
20 seconds.
What?
4 quick hitters.
That's why
I was- I was-
We brought it to 7. 7 rounds.
Bruh, the Bills have way bigger issues than their defense. Their defense is good.
Yes, it is, but they don't have. I think they're either going to trade for Yannick or they're going to sign Jadeveon. I see them doing either one of those. And
I could see them trading for Milwaukee. The point on this one. I'm gonna give it to Logan. I think it was a toss-up, but I mean, the cap space part, like, I don't know. That just kind of let me.
They have more money paid. They do. They have more money.
Yeah, that's the only reason why. I know he's going to lose based on this. Oh, he froze. Hold on. What's up, Logan?
Can't. Now I can.
All right, but all right. So Logan, you're going first for this one.
All right, what is it?
Terrell Owens standing for an all-time wide receiver because wasn't it you that commented hate for me calling him number 3 all time?
Yes, I think he's 5.
All right, ready?
Fuck.
Set.
This is an argument.
Okay, so his talent. Okay, I don't know whether you're doing it stats-wise or talent-wise, but talent-wise, he's 5th. I think Calvin Johnson beats him out. I even think Larry Fitzgerald beats him out. He didn't show a lot talent-wise. I mean, he was a great talent, but he.
Now you just pissed me off. Sorry, I already lost.
4, 3.
He cut me off.
I come off. I lost.
All right, fair. All right. We want to hear both of your points. So we're going to give Logan 15 seconds, and then we're going to give you 20 seconds, but he will get the point. Set, go.
I only see him as the top. I only see him being top 3 if you're considering stats. And what you did, I thought was based on talent, so that's why. It was based on stats?
Yeah.
Okay, then yes, I agree. I thought it was based on talent. That's the only reason I disagree. I
Time.
think. Okay.
By the way, based on talent, he's still up there. Top 3.
Yeah, he's 5. I think he's
Top
5.
3. Top 3.
No, he's not.
Top 3.
Okay.
All right.
Mr.
I'll
Odell.
let- even though you lost, you may get 20 seconds to explain why Logan is so wrong.
I mean, plain simple, like Terrell Owens is stat-wise 5, but talent-wise, yeah, he's 3. If you look at him, he was an absolute game changer. There's so many issues with him outside the game of football, but there's no doubt that I would probably rank him 5. Not even gonna lie. Just like the talent's there, but there's some serious issues.
All right. So it is now 3-2. This is much closer than I expected. Logan is frozen. So
I'm right here.
3-2. I thought we had 4. What were the 5 topics? Maybe I can count.
the Super Bowl, the GOAT conversation, the what's it called? You got another one as the Julio Jones, and then he got the last 2.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right, let's get it.
All right, so there's 2 left. The next one, where is Tua going? And
We both have the same opinion.
yes, but it's the better argument. It's not, you don't have to have contrasting opinions to give a
Okay.
better argument.
Okay. Am I going first? I think I am.
Actually, not just Tua.
No,
Justin.
I like to do one.
You want to
No,
do Tua?
keep it to it.
All right, sweet. Because the other one I was going to resort to Jordan Love, but we could
Keep it to it.
keep Tua. Is it Logan going first this time?
I believe so.
Yeah, we're on. No, wait, no, it's not. It's you going first.
It's me.
Yeah, because we're at an even number. Ready?
Okay, now I can
We
hear
have the same opinion though, so this is
you.
fun.
Go ahead.
So you
Go
want to
ahead.
do Jordan Love instead?
No, we'll stick with it.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
We'll stick
Go.
with it. All right, Tua was supposed to travel to the Dolphins on March 12th, but they made it illegal for people to travel to NFL teams. Thus, the Dolphins can't take a loss. They have a good roster. They are going to wait on a quarterback. They're going to draft Jordan Love with their 18th pick. They're going to let Tua fall, and they're going to take the best player available because it's better for the roster. They're a win-now roster if you look at it.
I thought we were going on where's Tua going?
Yeah, he's not going there. He'll go to the Chargers then because it's 1 pick later. He'll go to the Chargers.
Okay.
All right, Logan, your time starts now.
Ryan Fitzpatrick old. Rosen is a complete and total bust. I think Tua.
No, you froze. We'll
I
pause.
won. I think that's a W just because I have Wi-Fi that works.
Yeah, because you're not using a Google Chromebook.
Yo, that's why you buy a Mac. That's also a W.
Oh, yeah.
I
All right, you
hate.
back.
All right, let's do it again.
Go.
What?
Go.
Tua goes to the Dolphins because they have the pieces around the quarterback position to win, not now maybe, but in the future. And I think that he is their franchise quarterback. Rosen sucks. Fitzpatrick's old.
Time.
Tua now.
All right, this point has to go to Logan just because he actually gave a destination during the time limit.
Oh, fuck that. Come on.
It is tied up 3-3.
Come on.
The unthinkable has happened. Logan has jumped in. The last topic. I need to make this something very good. When will sports be coming back? And who will be the first league to come back? Since it is tied, 1 minute will be on the clock to give.
Oh, yeah, rack on this.
Logan, you're up first. I hope you're ready.
Go.
Go.
I think football is the first thing back. The only reason why is because I see this thing.
You're right.
I don't see people staying in their homes. Like, people are just going to keep going out. I really don't. Like, nothing's going to contain it. I don't think it completely drops off until football season starts. And even then, I don't even think fans are in the stands. I don't know if they start playing NBA games or MLB games before without fans in the stands. But I see football maybe not even starting week 1, maybe later than that. But the first thing I see coming back in full swing is definitely the NFL.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's it. I don't care how much time I had left. That's all I needed.
27 seconds when you ended. All right. All right. So, Chaunce, 1 minute for the win. Start
All right.
now.
So Logan already gave me the victory because the MLB is coming back first. It's already been discussed. The MLB is coming back because Arizona and Florida don't have a ban on coming back yet. So they could do that. The MLB has already discussed coming back right now with all their games based in Arizona and Florida because they can do that without fans. The Japanese league already came back with fake fans in the stands. They have robots and they have cutouts in the stands. And MLB's already discussed having their players live in the same apartment buildings, and they're going to be back the first. And it's just plain simple. We're not going to have a summer without baseball. NFL is still ways away.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to baseball, so you just won that easily.
I
Yeah,
know.
that is
Yeah,
I
good.
don't say baseball because I don't know anything about it.
You just didn't know that one. I get it.
I disagree with both of you guys. I think the NBA is coming back first.
You're fucking retarded. Stop talking.
They
Stop
need
talking.
to. They
Stop
can.
talking. Stop. Please stop. Thank you.
No, they need to. Yeah, get muted, Mr. Broncos. But they need to finish their season. They absolutely have to. There's no other option. They cannot just cancel the season in this day and age. It's possible a while ago in like the 60s and stuff when all the sports weren't as popular. I know the NHL did it. They're not able to just cancel their season. My other pick, actually, now that I'm actually thinking about it, would be the NHL to return
sure.
first because they've been talking about returning in New Hampshire.
And separate playoff formats and how they do it. Yeah, I heard about that too.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think they can nix their season either. I don't think
They're
that's
gonna
a possibility
cancel
for
their
them.
season. They can't. They ain't get deep enough into their season. It's gonna be canceled outright.
That's
I
fair.
guarantee it. I'm a big hockey guy. I think it's gonna be canceled outright. NBA I could totally see coming back, but NHL is gonna be. It's one of those leagues where they take everything so seriously. I'm even worried about the MLB. I don't think that they're gonna be okay with the game with a season that's any less than the maximum length. So I think there's a little question mark there.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think this just wraps up the episode, though. We will definitely have you back because we have some great ideas coming involving you and a few other people hopping on. So,
Miles.
yes, that would be the
Yes.
dynamic duo. And then another idea for the future, we might cut this part out, otherwise, we're going to introduce it now. Rivals. So, if you're seeing this, if this is not edited out, comment below your team, and we're going to have you and a rival fan base supporter argue it out on Zoom. And it's going to be great. It's going to be much more organized than this was. This was awesome, though. We'll see you. Obviously, you're a huge Eagles fan. Fly, Eagles, fly. Just kidding. Cowboys, big year ahead of them. Anything you want to say to wrap this up here?
11-5.
I mean, this has been really fun. Cowboys are making the playoffs this year, win the NFC East. I mean, plain simple, Dak's the best quarterback in the division. Zeke's the best running back in the division. Mari Cooper's the best wide receiver in the division. And the Cowboys might even have the best defense in the division, definitely the best O-line. So, I mean, it's down for a good year in the NFC East.
You heard it here first. You heard it everywhere first. Cowboys 10-6, deep playoff run.
Bills 12-4.
Broncos AFC Championship.
You heard that here first. No one's probably ever
Guys,
said
no,
that
seriously,
ever.
no. But like legit, if that ends up happening, like come on, like that's boiling hot
I
takes.
told you I will bow down to you if that happens.
Broncos
just
4-12.
if it does,
4-12. No question.
4-12.
Yep, 4-12.
If they have a losing record, I'll literally spend $1,000 on you. I will buy you $1,000 worth of sports memorabilia, and I stand by that. If they have a losing record, they will not have a losing
That's a
record.
deal. And this is recorded. We're still recording. So this is going on the YouTube video. You're not going to remember this.
7-9.
That's a losing record.
That's a losing record.
And we might just end right on Logan freezing.
All right.
All right, it was a
All right, well,
pleasure
this
having you
was
guys
fun.
as always. Pleasure having a great guest on. He's gonna be back many times. I hope.
Definitely.
Hopefully.
Definitely.
All right.
Peace, boys.
Peace.
Yeah.